Picture this, a sprawling, highly advanced manufacturing plant operating with literally zero waste. Now, imagine a glowing digital map instantly calculating the absolute shortest delivery route right through the middle of a crowded metropolis. Or, think about engineers designing a massive suspension bridge that uses the absolute bare minimum of steel, yet can somehow withstand hurricane-force winds. What you're visualizing here, it's not just good management, and it's definitely not lucky engineering. It's actually the result of a hidden mathematical engine running the modern world. Welcome to this explainer. Today, we're going to master the science of making things smaller, faster, and cheaper, because we are conquering minimization problems. So I want to ask you directly, how exactly do massive global companies consistently slash their production costs? Or how do our everyday GPS apps instantly plot the shortest possible route to our destination? And how does artificial intelligence actually learn to reduce its prediction errors over time? It kind of looks like magic, right? But the secret actually lies in one incredibly powerful mathematical concept. The reality is, minimization isn't just some abstract math theory trapped in a textbook. No way. It is the ultimate real-world superpower. We use it to reduce manufacturing costs to the absolute floor. We use it to find the shortest logistics routes, which saves millions in fuel. We use it to engineer structures with the least material possible without ever sacrificing safety. And over in the tech world, we use it to minimize prediction errors in AI and machine learning models. It's literally all about optimizing reality. Okay, let's dive right into Section 1, the anatomy of a problem. Before we can solve anything, we need to understand the core rules of the game we're playing. Every optimization scenario, no matter how complex it seems, can be broken down into a few distinct mathematical components. It all starts right here, with the objective function. Think of this as your primary target. It's the mathematical expression that we are actively trying to shrink down to its absolute lowest possible value. We usually call this Z. So if you're minimizing cost, Z is your cost formula. Minimizing distance, Z is your distance formula. And it depends on variables, usually X or Y, which represent things like the number of products made or the hours spent. But here is where reality really kicks in. Look at this comparison. On one side, we've got unconstrained minimization. This is where your variables have absolutely no restrictions. You can just use any number you want. But in the real world, we usually face constrained minimization. You don't have infinite money. You don't have infinite time. Variables must satisfy specific conditions, like a tight budget limit or a maximum weight capacity. These constraints drastically change the mass, creating what we call a feasible region of actual, realistic possibilities. All right, moving on to Section 2. Let's look at Method 1, using derivatives. So, how do we mathematically find that rock-bottom minimum? Well, derivatives are your go-to tactical weapon for single variable functions. Think of this method like a highly precise mission checklist. Step 1, you find the first derivative of your function. Step 2, you set that first derivative exactly to 0. Why? Because this gives you your critical points, the exact locations where the function's slope flatlines, meaning it's either at a peak or a valley. Step 3, to figure out if it's a valley, a minimum, you find the second derivative. And Step 4, you plug your critical point into that second derivative. If the result is greater than 0, congratulations, you've officially found a minimum. And when you execute those steps flawlessly on an objective function, let's say the cost formula x squared minus 4x plus 5, setting the derivative to 0 gives you a critical point of x equals 2. Plug that back into your original function and you get this single, incredibly satisfying number, 1. That right there is your absolute minimum value. Let's move on and see how this builds in Section 3, Method 2, graphical optimization. Now, when we're dealing with strict constraints across multiple variables, like, say, manufacturing both cars and trucks at the exact same time, we use something called linear programming. And this is an incredibly visual method. You literally box in your solution. First, you draw all your constraint lines on a graph. Second, you identify the feasible region, that shaded area where all your constraints overlap. Third, you find all the corner points of that shaded region. Fourth, evaluate your objective function, your Z, at each of those corners. And finally, just choose the smallest value. The math actually guarantees that the absolute minimum will always hide at one of those sharper corners. Now, what's really interesting about this slide is how this data table perfectly proves the method. Let's say our objective function to minimize is Z equals 3x plus 5y. We graphed our constraints and found 3 corner points, 0, 0, 6, 0, and 0, 6. We plug them into the Z formula and look at the results, 0, 18, and 30. It takes the guesswork completely out of the equation. The corner point at 0, 0 definitively wins the minimization game with a value of 0.
I also want to briefly mention an advanced toolkit you're going to see in higher level problems, Lagrange multipliers. You use this when you have strict equality constraints, meaning something absolutely must equal a specific number rather than being less than or greater than. It uses gradients and a special variable called lambda to find the minimum. Honestly, it's a beautiful, elegant piece of mathematical reality for really complex systems.
Let's shift focus back to the big picture in Section 4, real-world applications. Why does any of this matter outside of a classroom? Well, look at these applications. In business and finance, they use this exact math to minimize operating costs and shrink investment risk. In manufacturing, it guarantees minimum raw material usage to avoid massive waste. In transportation, it calculates the shortest routes to minimize fuel consumption. Over in engineering, it's used for minimum stress design to keep our buildings safe. And in artificial intelligence, minimizing the loss function is literally how a machine learning model gets smarter over time. This math saves billions of dollars and actively drives human progress.
All right, answering the final boss phase here. Section 5, exam strategies and shortcuts.
For those of you gearing up to absolutely crush the CBSE Class 12 exams, JEE Main, NDA, or CUET, knowing the concepts is one thing, but performing perfectly under time pressure requires strategy. To guarantee success with derivative problems, I want you to burn this massive mnemonic anchor into your brain, the FCSS rule. When you see a minimization calculus problem on your exam, recall these 4 letters. Here's what it stands for. F, find the first derivative. C, critical point, set that derivative to 0. S, second derivative, calculate it to verify the nature of the point. And S, smallest value. Plug your critical point back into the original function to get your final answer. If you use FCS as your mental save point, you'll literally never miss a calculus step on test day. And for general optimization and word problems, we have another really powerful memory trick. I call this the MIN rule. The MIN rule gives you a structured framework to keep you focused and prevent panic. M, model the problem. Write out your objective function and all constraints clearly. I, inspect the feasible region. Draw your neat graphs and find those corner points. N, next step. Evaluate your objective function at every single corner. And finally, M, minimum. Select the lowest value and write your final answer with proper units. Let that MIN rule guide you right to the finish line. But be warned, avoiding common pitfalls is absolutely crucial to saving your exam score. Do not ignore your constraints, like forgetting that variables must be greater than 0. Do not forget to evaluate every single endpoint or corner. Never skip the second derivative test just because you found a critical point. You still have to prove it's a minimum. And be incredibly careful not to accidentally select a point that sits outside your shaded feasible region. So the crucial point here is to always double-check your work. Okay, let's lock this knowledge in right now with a rapid-fire quiz. Think back to our graphical method. In linear programming, where exactly does the absolute minimum value occur within a constrained space? Take a second and think about it. That's right, at the corner point of the feasible region. It's never just floating randomly in the middle. It is always penned to the geometric extremes. That is the undeniable power of the graphical method. So, what does this all mean? We've covered the objective functions, the derivatives, the corner points, and the massive real-world applications of this math. You now have the exact frameworks used by elite engineers, data scientists, and top-tier students. So I leave you with this provocative question. Are you ready to apply these rules, optimize your exam scores, and eventually minimize the inefficiencies in the entire world around you? Keep practicing, trust the structure, and I'll catch you in the next explainer.